Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm very good, Sam. How are you? Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you here. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure everyone wants to hear about your involvement with the PA show. But for those of you, the people that might not know you, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, of course. So my name's Paul Kelly, and I have been embedded, if you like, within the PA and assistant community for 20 plus years now. I've not personally worked as a PA myself in the past or currently, but my main career has always been as a recruiter and as a recruitment consultant. And within the 20 years period of working within the space, I've always recruited essentially for PAs and support staff across the board. For the last 10 years, I've had my own recruitment agency called Strictly Recruitment, which we've grown from 2 people on to become one of the most prominent household name recruiters within the PA and support staff industry. And over the last year or so, I've set up a network called the Business Support Network, which is commonly known now as the BSN.
Brilliant, brilliant. How's that going?
Fantastic. Yeah, the rise has been incredible. It kind of went from 0 to 100 in a really short space of time, and things have really snowballed since then. So the network's fantastic. It's a lot of
Good.
fun. We provide lots of great resources for people, which people really enjoy, and lots of inspiration and tips and helping people with their career and stuff. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and we're excited to see where the next few years take us with it.
Yeah, and that's very important at the moment. I guess a lot of people are turning to you for, not just their next career move, but obviously the support as well. And it's very hard out there. And how do they stand out and that kind of thing? So that sounds like you're giving something back as well. Just in terms of the PA show, do you want to say how did you get involved with it? What's your involvement?
Yeah, well, I've been going to the PA show for the last few years because it's I haven't been involved in previous years, but I've been an attendee and going along to meet contacts of mine and different people and use it as kind of networking and what have you. I've always really enjoyed the show, and I think the show is worth pointing out is, I believe in my personal opinion, is a vital showpiece for our industry. It's because I often see from people kind of talking to me, people feel who are PAs that they often feel a bit left out, should we say, a bit left out by their kind of senior peers who have lots of awards for them and development shows for them. So I think it's a really important date in the PA calendar. So I've been going along for the past few years to kind of network and see people and everything else. But this year I kind of put my hand up, and you guys kind of reached out to me as well. Because it was kind of perfect match with where we are in the industry as well. So I'm going to be speaking on the personal development stage about goal setting. And I'll be there for both the days as well, meeting people and just kind of generally saying hello and being on board with the show in general.
Good. I'm sure a lot of people are going to come to your session and meet you. But just wanted to touch on a few things before we talk about your session. In terms of the PA role, I mean, it just constantly develops. But how do you see this developing in the future?
It's a good question, and a very relevant question, certainly over the last year. And that's something that's been asked a record amount of time since March last year on all of our webinars and everything else. I mean, the role has evolved so much over the last 10, 20 years, and even more so the past few years. And from what we can see at this particular moment, a lot of organizations are taking this opportunity to analyze their support staff and what PAs and executive assistants and assistants in general can bring to the table. And they're looking at the assistant role as somebody who's a lot more of a business resource, and somebody who, the days of kind of there's always a place for organization and, document work and bits and pieces like that. But there is now a kind of shift across the industry to try and upskill assistants as much as possible, to bring them part of the fold and try and make them part of the decision-making process as much as possible. And that's something that we're seeing a hell of a lot. We're seeing a lot of organizations going through quite big restructures at the moment and restructuring the PA and assistant job spec to kind of see what elements that they can add to that particular role above and beyond the kind of organizational piece, the kind of organizing the travel and the diary and the admin. Look at getting these roles really involved in the decision-making process and seeing them more as assistants and then kind of stopping the divide between the kind of senior people and the boss and the assistant, kind of bridging that gap between the two. So that's where I see it going. A lot of people are perhaps a little bit worried about AI and how that's going to affect the role of the assistant moving forward. But from what we can see, AI has a place alongside the personal touch of the assistant role. So I can see the two things going in tandem. I can't personally, from my experience and what I hear from different organizations, I can't see the AI side really taking over, but I can see it being used as a tool to enhance the role of an assistant.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually one of the biggest things at the show is we have a lot of training sessions and development and things like that. You obviously work on both sides, so you have the assistants as customers, but you also have the corporates and the clients. When you're speaking to the clients, what is it that are the essential skills, especially at this time through what we've been through the last year? What are those skills that they're looking for?
I think right up there at the moment is the strong communication skills, especially where we are when we're, right here now, we're both at home, and this time last year we wouldn't have been doing this. This would be face to face or whatever, in a room together. So communication skills, I think, is huge at this moment in time to keep those relationship skills are there. Of course, the organizational skills are paramount. They're always going to be there. But I also think bits and pieces of kind of showing the initiative and showing the drive and the passion and the business acumen to really kind of have that responsibility of the individual to take their role to that next level and have the interest to kind of sit there and say, okay, look, I can see that within this particular role, within my role as an assistant, I can alleviate this job from where it is at the moment onto the next stage of bringing this to the table, being more of a business partner as opposed to just the kind of mechanism for the administration. So I think to sum that up, a desire to improve and get better would be something that's coming up a hell of a lot as well.
Yeah, great. So you're just going to sort of talk a bit about your session, give you a chance to promote it, and but not go into too much detail because we want people to come along. But you're going to be talking about goal setting, which is a favourite topic of mine. Tell me, what made you choose that topic?
It's something that I feel is close to my heart personally, and it's something over the last kind of 4 or 5 years, I've been on a bit of a journey of self-discovery myself, and I've upskilled and done lots of training courses to be a life coach and all of these things and training sessions, which helps me and my business and help develop my team. And before these, without me kind of even realizing and acknowledging it, it's something that I've always done. I've always kind of said to myself, I've got this goal. This is what I want to go off and achieve. And for me personally, it's always been a mechanism for me to kind of keep me going towards that and if distractions come in, we can look at those, but it kind of keeps us going to the kind of main prize. So without me realizing and kind of acknowledging it through the training, it's something that I already did and kind of looked into. So when I did the different bits and pieces of the training, the goal setting side of things was a big interest of mine. And I believe that it's, regardless of what your profession, what you do, how you go about your life, it's good to have these certain targets and goals and what have you, whether they are, from, okay, this weekend, I'm going to sort the garden out and I'm going to get that done, or this is what I want to do for my career, or I'd like to run, so I'm going to run 5K in this time, because it keeps you accountable,
motivates you.
It keeps you on track on your goal and doing your best. And let's be honest, there aren't too many people around in this world that don't want to be the best version of themselves. Everybody wants to get better in some way, shape, or form. Everybody wants to kind of move onwards and upwards and progress, and goal setting is a great way of doing that.
Yeah, I love that. And like for the people that are going to be coming to your session, why is it so important for them to set goals?
Yeah, I think it's important I think it's something that's often overlooked in the PA industry. And I was speaking to a large company the other week about helping them with some training and what have you. And they all said, look, we would love to have a kind of goal setting talk, because again, it's something that's quite often overlooked in the PA perspective, because companies roll out these goal setting talks and advice for the senior management level, and the PA side don't really have that. So it's great that I've got a vehicle that I can give some help to the PA community. I think it's important to have these goals all year round, and people look at it and think, in December, get to the end of December, right, okay, what's my New Year's resolutions? Boom, 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 okay, let's do it. And by the second, third week or in February, these kind of resolutions have kind of gone by the wayside. If we kind of restart to think the process and start setting some different goals over the course of the year, then you're going to get more. Then you're going to get more action on those goals. You're going to see more results, and then it drives you forward and kind of becomes more of a lifestyle, as opposed to let's just kind of do everything in January, and it will kind of really help. So from the session, what we'll look at how to decide what goals you want to achieve, and put some steps in place to really help kind of bring those goals to life and kind of put them together and make them actionable.
Oh, brilliant. Well, honestly, I think it's going to be a great session, and I know I'm going to be busy at the show, but I do hope to be able to drop into that one myself. So before I finish, I just wanted to see, you mentioned a couple of goals, but whether they are your goals, what goals have you set for yourself recently?
Well, there's I can't say too much because quite a lot of them are business focused. But one goal that I have at this moment in time is helping the PA show become the biggest that it possibly can be. Oh. I didn't mention it before, but I'm part of the advisory board as well. So kind of working with you guys to help make the show the biggest that it can be this year. We know everything that's going on in the world with the pandemic and what have you, but the news that's come through over the last couple of days is so positive for us at the moment. So it's a great opportunity for us to embrace the kind of end of lockdown roadmap, and being a couple of days afterwards. So that's one of my big goals. I've set some goals for the business support network, which we're working towards, and we're about 2 or 3 steps along the way to achieve those. So we've achieved the kind of short-term goals so far, so that's great. One of the things that we're working towards at Strictly Recruitment is getting back into a position to be exactly where we were this time. This time last year it was very different. It was very different.
Yeah.
So we're working hard towards that. But generally speaking, as an individual, one of my goals at the beginning of each year is looking about how I can be the best person I can be to my family, to my friends, to my team, and working hard every day to make sure that I'm the best version of myself for those guys.
Oh, good stuff. Honestly, I think it's going to be a brilliant session. If anyone wants to register for the PA show, do so. It's on the 22nd and 23rd of June, the day after all the restrictions are going to be cleared. So it's going to be a brilliant show. I know, it couldn't have got better. Paul,
couldn't have timed it any better.
Absolutely.
Change the date. We'll change the day, and we'll predict that it will be the day after the end of the restrictions. There we go.
Me and Boris are like that.
Yeah, I'm obviously speaking to the right person here.
You are. Paul, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for your support on the show, and it is going to be a fantastic one. Thanks ever so much.